Good morning, everybody. My name is Frederick Vincent, project manager at Euro. And in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you something about public funding opportunities in Germany and EU, and maybe a little more. So, because I want to start with funding worldwide, what is possible there, funding programs along the technology readiness level, the so-called TRL, then something about the EIC program, the Pathfinder Transition and EIC Accelerator. I'm going to tell you something about the Eureka Eurostars program, and then a little more about the CIM, the Central Innovation Program in Germany for SMEs, and then a little bit about the Forschungszulage, which is, I think, literally translated something like research allowance. So, is there funding worldwide? So there are possibilities to cooperate with partners from all over the world. For example, within Eureka or even CIM, there are bilateral funding calls, and there's a huge call from the BMBF, the Quanten-Technologien. I'm not going to tell you much about the BMBF because I think the next speaker will. And yeah, of course, within Europe, there are many possibilities. The Horizon Europe framework, the European Innovation Council, Eureka, Eurostars, and also bilateral cooperation possibilities within the CIM program. In Germany, of course, there's the CIM, but also the Forschungszulage and many funding possibilities from BMBF, but also in the regional states. So there are many funding possibilities, like in Baden-Württemberg, in West BW, or in Bavaria, or in Hessen, in Berlin, and many more. What's always important when talking about funding programs is the technology readiness level of a certain project or a certain technology. So the question is, are you in the fundamental, in the very early stage of your development? Are you here in this prototype region, or are you close to market, or are you going to enter the market soon? And every program is dedicated to a certain technology readiness level. Interestingly, most of them are located in this area, TRL 4 to 6, so just from out of the lab into the prototype. But there's quite a lack of funding possibilities for market entrance or market launching, but there is the EIC Accelerator. That's why it's, I would say, quite attractive funding possibility. So let's have a quick look on the EIC. So what I just said, the relatively early stage funding, the EIC Pathfinder supports research in deep tech projects with a high degree of scientific ambition and risk. So it's dedicated for mostly research institutes, free partners from 3 different countries. As minimum, you have the possibility to get 3 or 4 million 100% funding for your research. And if you have finished that state, you can follow with the so-called EIC transition in this TL 4 to 6 to develop your prototype. This is the EIC Accelerator, which supports startups and small, medium-sized enterprises to develop and scale up to new markets or disruptive existing ones. So this is really mean for the TRL 5 to 8, for going close to the market or going into the market, what supports you even to growth and scale up, and maybe build up your sales team and what else you need, and serial production. So this is quite high funded with 2.5 million euro as a 7% rate for a single SME within 2 years. And additionally, it's possible to get equity up to 15 million euros. Well, honestly, it's not so easy to get this program, so the chance is like 5 to 7%, but they claim, but it is possible. And the proposal or the application routine is a little complex. There are several stages. So the first stage is that you have to hand in a concept, a sketch of your project, but also a pitching video. If you pass this stage, you are asked to hand in the full proposal. And if you also have passed this stage, you have to go personally to the ISC and pitch your program, your project. Let's move on to the next, which is relatively famous in Europe. I would say the Eurostars program. It's meant for SMEs. You can get a 50% funding, not for large companies, not for large corporations, but also for universities, which are funded at 100%. There must be a German SME to get the funding. Well, they are participating approximately 37 countries, mostly from EU, but also worldwide. And that's a limitation of the program. So the maximum budget for, in this case, Germany is 500,000 euro for the entire project. So not for each partner, for the entire project, but yeah, nevertheless, it's a relatively attractive funding program, and the next deadline is next year in March. So that's quite enough time, I would say, to prepare the proposal until then. Now let's get to the Central Innovation Program for SME. Well, I would call it the bread and butter funding for German SME. It's in this middle area of the TRL 4 to 6 to develop the first prototype, what you want to do. And well, there's project funding, so-called feasibility studies or something before the project. And then there's the actual project funding, national and international. And after the project, it's also possible to get additional services for the market launch. And also, maybe that's not so famous, are the innovation networks, which are also funded by SIM. In general, it's open to all technologies. There are no specific deadlines, so you can. So the submission is ongoing, and also the evaluation is ongoing, typically 3 to 4 months, and it's non-competitive. So that means if the project fits the program, your chance is 100% to get the funding. Let's talk quickly about these feasibility studies. They are also not so well known, but you can get them before to start the real project. So there you can, do investigations about state-of-the-art electron property research, or just identify your necessary R&D work, identification of scientific, technical resources and partners, and also market analysis. All this is funded with 70% up to 100,000 euro a solo project, and it's relatively quick to get and a relatively slim proposal, I would say, and projects are done within 6 to 8 months. And this is this main project funding with projects up to 2 years. You can do it as single projects or cooperation projects with RTOs, and the funding rate is about 40 to 45%. Typical project duration is 2 years, and there are many international bilateral calls, which raises the funding rate up plus 10% for the German partners. So it's maybe a good idea to check if there are international calls. What's important for these projects? So innovation, risk, and market. If these requirements fits to the program, you can get the funding. And this is relatively new because they have too much budget at the moment at the BMWW. So you can hand in 2 projects per year. I will skip more or less this. Additional services for market launch is something that you can get after your successful project. So let's talk about innovation networks. It's also a funding program from the BMWK, so it funds the formation of organized and topic-specific innovation networks. And the goal of these networks is to create projects, to come up with projects which are then funded. And as a partner in these networks, you benefit from extensive innovation and funding advice and access to a comprehensive service package, trusted cooperation, first-class advice from, for example, Eura's experience and experts. Do I have to quick 1 minute? So these networks are running for 1.5 years in the first phase and followed by a 3-year phase. Within, all this cooperation is organized, workshops are moderated, there are 3 to 4 network meetings per year, and it's about networking, innovation, which is all driven by funding. The Forschungszulage, just let me say, so that's attractive because, well, you get a 25% funding, but you can get it backwards. So if you have done the development already, you can also hand them in, so the money is already spent. And even if it's only 25%, maybe it's worth looking at that. So just let me say that from Eura, we are organizing quantum technology networks, quantum photonics, quantum sensing, quantum computing, enabling quantum technologies. We have 80% European partners, and later on we are organizing a joint network meeting here at the trade fair from 4 to 6 in room C.C43, and I think they're gonna order some pizza. So, thank you very much.